Officers from Eddy County arrive at a modest trailer home in New Mexico. They're conducting what appears to be a routine welfare check after receiving a concerning call from family members. Inside the residence live Manny Gillian Sr., his adult son Manny, and Manny's girlfriend, Briana Stallings. What police are about to discover will reveal a horrifying secret that's been hidden for nearly 12 months. A secret involving Briana's infant daughter, who nobody has seen in almost a year. The officers learn that Briana's relatives haven't seen her infant daughter in nearly a year. The family became suspicious when Briana blocked them all on social media and stopped responding to messages. Every time anyone asked about the baby, Briana claimed the child was with another family member. But when investigators started checking with those relatives, they discovered something disturbing. None of them had the baby. Nobody knew where the infant was. As officers prepared to leave the residence, Manny's brother arrived home. Detectives quickly approached him, hoping he might have information about the missing infant. The brother explained he hadn't seen his niece in several months, maybe 3 or more. He said Briana told him one of her aunts was caring for the child, but he admitted he wasn't fully convinced by her explanation. Something didn't seem right. Detectives began contacting members of Briana's family. Each aunt gave the same response. They didn't have the baby. One aunt, named Ruby, insisted officers come speak with her in person. She had raised Briana since the child was 6 years old and had witnessed disturbing behavior from Briana's boyfriend, Manny. Ruby described visiting Briana at the hospital when the baby was born. While she took photographs of the newborn, Manny became visibly angry, whispered something in Briana's ear, and stormed out of the room. Ruby's intuition told her something was deeply wrong. 2 days passed with no sign of the couple or child. Then a woman named Desiree contacted police. She identified herself as Briana's former roommate and had critical information about Manny. She revealed that Manny had lost custody of his previous child due to severe physical abuse of that infant. Desiree explained that during Briana's pregnancy, Manny repeatedly said he didn't want the baby and didn't want another child. This information painted an increasingly dark picture of the couple and added urgent priority to locating them and finding the missing infant. The following day, investigators received a tip about the couple's location. Briana and Manny were staying at a trailer belonging to Manny's father. Officers drove to the address immediately, hoping to speak with them directly and finally get answers about the missing child. After several minutes of knocking with no response, the couple finally emerged from the trailer. It was clear they already knew why police were there, and they had prepared their story. Officers separated the couple to question them individually. Briana claimed she gave the baby to a friend named Maria in Wades about 2 months ago. She said she did this because her family was interfering in her life. When officers questioned Manny separately, his story didn't match. He said the baby was given away at the beginning of the year, not 2 months ago. Neither could provide an address, phone number, or any way to contact this supposed friend Maria. The inconsistencies were glaring, and officers' suspicions grew with each contradicting detail. With inconsistencies piling up and no way to verify their story, officers made the decision to detain both Briana and Manny and transport them to the police station for formal questioning. At the station, they were placed in separate interview rooms. Detectives had one goal: figure out what really happened to the baby and who was responsible. For the couple, one wrong answer could expose the terrible secret they'd been hiding for almost a year. When confronted with the lack of evidence for Maria's existence, Briana finally broke. She confessed that her daughter was dead. After confessing that her daughter was dead, Briana claimed it was an accident. She said she fell asleep on the baby while they were in their car, accidentally suffocating the infant. Panicked, she and Manny buried the child's body in a remote wooded area where it had remained hidden for nearly a year. Detectives offered Briana time to compose herself, then asked if she would show them where the body was buried. She agreed. Both Briana and Manny were then driven to the location they hoped would never be discovered, the forest grave of an innocent child. Deep in the wooded area, Briana led investigators to a specific location marked by rocks. She indicated that her daughter's body was buried beneath those rocks. Officers marked the site, but decided to halt the search until the following morning when proper forensic teams could arrive. For now, they secured the area and transported Briana and Manny back. The couple wasn't arrested yet. They were treated as witnesses to a tragic situation, not as suspects in a murder. That would soon change. The next morning, forensic teams returned to the burial site with Briana. Manny refused to go back and waited in a police vehicle instead. The remains were carefully excavated and recovered. Medical examiners made troubling discoveries during the autopsy. The infant's body showed signs of injuries that occurred before death. Fractures to bones suggested the child had been physically harmed while still alive. Most critically, the manner of death was ruled a homicide, not an accident. For the first time, investigators had proof of foul play. But there was a problem. Both Briana and Manny had been let go before the results came back. Over 2 months passed with no sign of Briana or Manny. Detectives searched every known address, but the couple had vanished. With Manny's family connections in Mexico, there was real concern they had fled the country permanently. 8 full weeks went by. Then in February, investigators received a tip. The couple had quietly returned and were staying at Manny's father's trailer. Officers were immediately dispatched with specific instructions: approach calmly, convince them to come voluntarily, and extract a confession. Spooking them could mean losing them forever. Officers arrived at the trailer and calmly brought both Briana and Manny to the station for questioning. Once there, they were separated immediately. Detective Amanda Keller led both interrogations. Briana initially stuck to her accident story, but eventually began hinting that Manny had played a larger role. Meanwhile, Manny was confronted with the autopsy evidence showing injuries occurred before death, injuries that proved CPR couldn't have caused them. The detective laid out all the medical facts. The bones showed damage while the child was still alive. Finally, under the weight of undeniable evidence, Manny broke. He confessed that the baby was crying and wouldn't stop. He grabbed her by the leg and yanked her. When she still cried, he sat on top of the infant until she stopped breathing. He had killed her in a moment of rage. Following their confessions, both Briana and Manny were placed under arrest. Manny was charged with child abuse resulting in death, essentially murder. Briana was charged with tampering with evidence for helping bury the body. However, in a shocking development, both suspects were later released on bond while awaiting trial. As of now, they remain free, with no supervision, and could potentially disappear again. Manny faces a possible life sentence if convicted. Briana's sentence would be significantly shorter for her role in the cover-up, but that's only if they actually appear for their trial. With Manny's connections in Mexico and both currently walking free, there's genuine concern they may vanish permanently before justice can be served. Lost in this tragic story is an innocent infant who never had a chance at life. A baby girl who died at the hands of those who should have protected her. Her short life ended not in an accident, but in a violent moment of rage. She was buried in secret and hidden for nearly a year. While her killers currently walk free, awaiting trial, her memory remains with the family members who fought to find her and the investigators who uncovered the truth. This case stands as a disturbing reminder of the darkest aspects of human nature, how those entrusted with caring for the most vulnerable among us can become their destroyers. An infant who deserved love received violence. A child who deserved protection received rage. And now, as her killers walk free on bond, questions remain about whether justice will ever truly be served. The system that was meant to protect her failed. The question now is whether the system will at least hold her killers accountable.